In the village of Alailidla, Maruka carries out inseminations.
Natumia njia hiyo ya usalishaji kwa chupa kwa sababu ni nzuri, na dume kununua madume na kugawa kwa kila mtu labda apate dume ni gharama kuliko kununua mbegu na kusafirisha kuleta hapa ni rahisi zaidi. Pia njia ya uhamilishaji ni nzuri kwa sababu ng'ombe jike anaepukana na magonjwa yanayopatikana kwa dume.
Maruka is one of 50 inseminators trained under projects operated by the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. Participants from all over Africa come to Tanzania's National Artificial Insemination Center in Arusha. Almost 29 prime bulls of various breeds are kept here. Semen is collected and prepared for distribution with controls in place to evaluate the quality. It's then diluted and filled into straws. Samples are frozen and contained in liquid nitrogen. This makes transporting them easy and allows storage for many years without the use of electricity. Up to 150,000 straws are produced each year at this center. Inseminators use them as needed in communities all over Tanzania. A nuclear technique known as radioimmunoassay, or RIA for short, is a kind of pregnancy test conducted just 3 weeks after artificial insemination. One RIA test can be done on samples from up to 80 cows. The IAEA has supported the use of this technique in nearly 90 countries by training experts, establishing laboratories, and providing RIA kits. Farmers can now breed cows, which fetch higher prices at market and at the same time produce better quality meat. This report was produced by Louise Potterton for the United Nations.
In 2010 and 2011, the Arab Spring swept across the Middle East, including Egypt, toppling presidents and changing regimes. Hopes were high that the benefits of the revolution would filter down to local people, like those in Upper Egypt, one of the poorest regions of the country. But because of the subsequent instability, tourism revenue has shrunk in recent years, as has investment and government jobs. And economic conditions across the country have got even worse, making people's lives unstable. Gamal Khalaf sees this reality every day. A respected local leader and father of 3, he lives in the Upper Egypt village of Batibat.
أكتر حاجة الناس محتاجاها مش حاجة واحدة، في حاجات كتير الناس محتاجاها. محتاجة الاهتمام بالتعليم، بالصحة، الاهتمام بالزراعة، اهتمام يعني كذا حاجة احنا محتاجينها.
But by raising the community's self-sufficiency and helping to build up small businesses, the Hayat Human Security Project in Upper Egypt aims to impact policy and to change lives. With support from the United Nations Trust Fund for Human Security, the project offers the people of Upper Egypt help like agricultural training and business development advice. Medhat Rashid is a Hayat field manager.
The goal of Hayat project is to enhance the livelihood of those most vulnerable, and also is to establish social safe nets
Gamal serves on the Village Human Security Forum, part of the Hayat project, one of 6 new grassroots community groups designed for locals, both men and women, young and old, to take the lead in their own community's development. The Hayat project aims to empower communities with multiple interventions that support people's human security in the broadest sense, from jobs to health and education. But Gamal's own business also needed some help getting off the ground. In Upper Egypt, farmers like him face many challenges.
طبعا عندنا إمكانيات بالنسبة للزراعة ضعيفة، ما عندناش التكنولوجيا اللي هي المتقدمة بالنسبة للزراعة.
As well as cultivating his fields, Gamal is a date farmer. And now there's a new risk to his crop, the invasive red palm weevil, which eats away at trees from the inside, devastating local date production and eventually killing the trees. About 30% of the palms in the region have been affected, including some of Gamal's trees. Conventional treatments are time-consuming and labor-intensive, but the Hayat project introduced Gamal to a different and more effective way to fight the weevil. Boring into the trees and inserting pesticide with this simple hydraulic device, Gamal has rescued his trees.
لكن الجهاز بحط من 3 ل 5 لتر في النخلة في أقل من ربع ساعة أو في ربع ساعة تقريبا.
And Gamal doesn't just treat his own palms. He designed and fabricated 3 additional machines, which he now hires out to other farmers in need. It's an example of how low-scale technology helps local people overcome problems and lead more secure lives. And date production in the area is once again on the rise. With both his entrepreneurial spirit and community service, Gamal reflects the shifting attitudes and new hopes for Upper Egypt. A mindset Gamal believes will improve not only the lives of his children, but everyone who lives here. This report was produced by Andy Patterson for the United Nations.
Welcome to today's Global Connections television program. I'm Bill Miller. The main purpose of this show is to promote a discussion of major international issues such as war and peace, economic and social development, climate change, and human rights that impact people worldwide. New knowledge will inspire, involve, and motivate all of us to better deal with these challenges and to help create a better world. Today's program will focus on some very serious topics and some that are a little lighthearted at times. We're going to be talking about a connection between Ebola, the environment, and happiness. We'll be back in just a moment to talk about these and other important issues. Welcome back to our program. Today we're shining the spotlight on the Ebola virus as well as the environment and the issue of happiness. My guest today is an expert on all 3 of these issues. My guest today is Dr. Judy Kuriansky. Dr. Judy Kuriansky is a renowned international psychologist, humanitarian, author, United Nations advocate, award-winning journalist, and media personality. She is popularly known as Dr. Judy for giving advice on radio and TV for over 30 years. Dr. Judy Kuryansky, welcome to today's
Thank
Global
you.
Connections program.
Thank you, Bill.
I appreciate you being with me. Let's get right into this. Ebola, a very serious topic. Ebola ravaged several countries in Africa, especially Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. You went to Sierra Leone, and we're going to see a clip of some in a few minutes of your adventures there.
Yeah.
But how did you get involved in the Ebola issue? I know you've been involved in helping people who have been hit by natural disasters, man-made disasters over the years, but how did you get involved in dealing with the Ebola crisis?
Well, at the time that this terrible disaster was striking all these countries you mentioned and around the world, I was the chair of the Psychology Coalition, and so we recognized that while there was a lot of attention on the total devastation of the deaths and people's lives being in ruin and the economy being devastated, that there wasn't enough attention on the psychosocial issues, the fact that people were suffering emotionally and that they would be suffering emotionally for a long time, just as from the earthquakes they'd been to in Haiti and Japan and China and all around the world. And so we held a forum where many ambassadors from the UN were present and sponsored it, and WHO was there, and UN Women and UNICEF. And so there was someone from Israel there, and he said to me afterwards, Judy, why don't you come and help out? And help me get together some training programs and workshops for the children and the orphans and the helpers and the first aid responders and all of these people. And so he said, come in a week. And I said, okay, I'll be there.
And you were there. That's how it
that's
happened.
How it
Yes.
happened.
And of course, in your spare time, you've also written a very interesting book. It's the psychosocial aspects of a deadly epidemic, what Ebola has taught us about holistic healing. What is the thrust of this book?
Well, it is about the psychological and psychosocial issues that people are suffering from at the time during Ebola, and then who will be suffering from this all over the world. Those not only in the region, but all the diaspora and the people who love their family members and everyone who they know, and the rest of us, because there are other diseases as well. So it highlights all of